We have heard many stories of Draupadi. Did the Pandavas have other wives? They had many wives. The first woman to come into the lives of this generation of Kurus is Hidimba, a Rakshasi who marries Bhim but whom Kunti disowns as she is not of the same clan. Bhim and Hidimba's son is Ghatotkacha. In some stories, it is said that when the Kauravas poison Bhim and throw him in the sea, he goes to Naglok where he marries a snake and has a son, Bilal Sen. So Bhim has all these families before Draupadi comes into the picture. Draupadi is won by Arjun in an archery contest, but when he brings her home, Kunti tells him to share with his brothers whatever he has won. So the status of woman falls even further to the point where she is considered an object, a commodity. Draupadi, on her part, lays down a rule that there can be only one woman in the palace. It will be her kitchen, her home, and no one woman can enter there. She stays with each husband for 1 year, so the first husband's turn comes again only in the sixth year. What are the other husbands supposed to do in the interim? Again, the men are important. While the many queens of a king have to wait for their husband, these men refuse to wait. They marry other women. Yudhishthir marries a princess from Kashi, Nakula marries a princess from Chedi, and Sahadev too marries another princess. They all have children with these queens but never bring them home. They go to visit them. That becomes the custom. Arjun has several wives. One is Subhadra, Krishna's sister, a Yadav. Another is the Nagputri, Ulupi, and the third is the Manipuri princess, Chitrangada. Rabindranath Tagore had written a poem on Chitrangada. Yes, Chitrangada was a warrior princess. She hears of the handsome prince Arjun coming to visit and feels that he may not like her, as she is somewhat masculine. So she prays to Shiv to make her feminine. Shiv grants her wish and she turns into a gentle, lithe girl. However, when Arjun sees her, he is not attracted to her. He already has many wives. He wants to see the warrior princess, as he is drawn to the idea of that kind of woman. Chitrangada goes back to Shiv and converts to her original self. Now, when Arjun meets her, he falls in love with her and they marry. A child, Babruan, is born to them and stays back with the mother. Here, the woman is a warrior and retains the right to her child, which is the opposite of the Pandu and Niyok stories. What's Ulupi's stories? It's quite an interesting story. During a Tirth Yatra, when Arjun goes to bathe in a river, Ulupi kidnaps him and asks to marry him. Arjun turns her down. She tells him that she considers him her husband. So he has to accept her as his wife. Basically, she has abducted him and is now forcing him to become her husband. This is a very unique situation where the woman has so much power, not unlike Ganga. Arjun agrees to be her husband for one night. She begets a child, Iravan. In the Tamil Mahabharata, Iravan plays an important role. He is sacrificed during the war due to which the Pandavas are victorious. Ulupi is furious about her son being killed. She goes to Chitrangada and asks to adopt her son to teach him archery. She makes Babruan a great warrior. There's a time after the Kurukshetra war when Arjun goes to Manipur where he battles his son and is slain by him. Chitrangada then asks Ulupi to forgive their husband. Ulupi relents and uses a Nagmani to bring Arjun back to life. These women play an important role in Arjun's life. When Arjun kills Bhishma, Ganga curses him, saying that just as he has killed a man who was like a father to him, so will he suffer at the hands of his son. What about the Kauravas' wives? We hardly ever get to hear stories about them. Not much has been said about them in the epic. The traditional Lok Kathas folklore mention one wife of Duryodhan, Bhanumati. The couple loves each other and is faithful to each other. So he is Patnivrata and she is Pativrata. Usually in latter day retellings, he is depicted as being very luxurious, especially due to his part in Draupadi's Vastraharan because they want to paint him as a complete villain. Karn's wife too does not find a mention in the Sanskrit epic. In Lokkathas, there is a wife named Vaishali, and there isn't much of a dramatic story there either. Can you tell us the story of Gandhari's and Kunti's death? After the war, when Yudhishthir becomes king, the elders stay in the palace with them. But slowly, the Kaurav elders realize that they are not respected. Bhim makes fun of Dhritarashtra during meal times. When he hears him breaking a meat bone, Bhim tells him that's how he broke Dhritarashtra's son's bones in the war. After repeated insult, Gandhari suggests to her husband that they retire to the forest. Vanvas, Kunti also decides to go with them. A forest fire occurs while they are there. Dhritarashtra wants to run for his life, but Gandhari refuses and say, "Let us accept it. Accept death." Both Gandhari and Kunti die in the fire. It's not a completely natural death, it's accidental. You may call it a kind of suicide. If you look at the entire Mahabharata from the point of view of the woman, the stories of Kunti, of Gandhari, it's a big tragic. So, this is it for today. I'll be back till then. Keep listening beautiful stories and keep smiling.